that your colonizing beliefs have condemned you to. Okay. That's something that has been drilled in your head. However, I understand that our ancestors, were taught Christianity against their beliefs. Many of our ancestors. And I'm only referring to Christianity because I really don't ever see this a lot from other religions. Not to say it never happens, and that I've never seen it. It's that I don't see it as often as I do with Christianity. And that's really unfortunate because there are real Christians with a good heart who tune into my show. And I hope you know I'm not referring to you when I have to call out certain people. But to feel the need for no reason to attack this outstanding makeup artist, who is gorgeous, by the way. Without the makeup, I was like, wow, what a beauty. With the makeup, what a beauty. And I was like, I don't know if you're jealous because you don't have these makeup skills, or you just enjoy creating negative energy around you. But those horses, etc., that you have, it's all going to come crashing down on you, honey. All of it. You claiming to be so beautiful. I don't know where the beauty was. Because it most certainly was not shining through. If you mean beauty by you have 50 filters on and you're only 19, okay, sure. But how disgusting to attack somebody who is simply showing their makeup artistry and their devotion to their deity. Now, even if I was not a Santissima devotee, I would have seen this video and been blown away by the artistry. And I had already planned to say, wow, great work or something. I try to leave positive comments for people, especially when I see that they put in so much work into their video and into their craft. Okay. Because there's so much stupidity on social media. There's so much nonsense, and people like Shardy Bay and the inmate hopper whose entire life is based on just scamming you. And meanwhile, this Latina who is teaching people about Santissima and her indigenous roots is being attacked for what? Being graded makeup? For her beliefs? If you are really so comfortable in your beliefs and you are really just so devoted to your deity and your faith, then other people's faith will not upset you. Other people not thinking like you do will not anger you. We're not all the same. We're not all meant to be the same. And what was really depressing is that this 19-year-old with terrible grammar, by the way, I could barely understand what she was saying in English or Spanish. She, I think what was the worst part of it is that she's Latina and very whitewashed and wanted to be everything but Mexican. And I was like, yeah, see, the colonizers have already gotten to you. And to my white listeners, you know when I'm referring to the colonizers, that it's in no way an attack on white people, because I have quite a few white supporters and listeners who tune in every week. And I'm never referring to you because many of you get exactly what I'm referring to, as in, and if you don't, I'll explain it. Unfortunately, there are people that are non-white that always want to do everything they can to associate themselves with whiteness because they have accepted that that's somehow better in their mind, when there is no such thing as one ethnicity being better than another, one culture being better, one faith being better. There's no such thing. And if you focus more on you, imagine how much better your life would be, because we all know that people like this can manifest too. They can have the life that on the outside looks good, and then we know deep down that something terrible is happening. Look at Diddy. We know deep down that that person is really not that great, and that all of it one day will come crashing down. And so this is why I don't want you all to get upset when you see things like that. The original creator handled it so well, so classy, so demure. That is how you handle people like that, who refuse to educate themselves. And the fact that so many Latinos in particular are quick to judge Santissima, not understanding her indigenous background, is really, I'm going to be honest with you, it grosses me out that so many people prefer to be uneducated. And that's just something I wanted to talk to you all about in my chat. Another thing I wanted to talk to you all about is when you're in public and you pick up on energy that you don't like from certain people. Based on who I am, I'm Brazilian. You all know that. I'm also Mexican, but a big part of Brazilian culture is being very comfortable in who we are. We're very confident. It's something that's almost ingrained in our DNA. And it's definitely ingrained in mine because you all know my Brazilian half of my family didn't raise me. However, fun fact, on the other side of my family, there's somebody that was Brazilian. And I got a lot of my traits from him, and I'm not going to go further into it because it's kind of a sacred connection that I don't talk about. But this family member is what I need to put him on his picture up in my home so that I can always have that energy around. However, because of that, obviously you all know I'm also a gym rat, and that I look outstanding for my age. You know, I'm a baby millennial, but I'm still a millennial, and I am proud of my age. I am proud of my backgrounds. You all know that I very regularly have Brazilian and Mexican flags on everything and with me at all times so that people know exactly who they're dealing with. I also don't hide the fact that I am a witch. I have a giant Santissima necklace on right now. You might even hear it. There it is. And this necklace is a newer one. Her colors, of the stones on the pendant are red, clear, and green to represent the Mexican flag. So I wanted to always have a little bit of Mexico and a little bit of Brazil with me at all times. And I always do. So because of how I stand out, I'm used to certain negative energies from certain particular types of people. And I'm going to be careful about how I say this because I don't want other groups of people to think that I'm calling all of you out. Okay. I also appear to be affluent because I am. You know, I've worked very hard to get to this stage in my life. I will always be affluent. I was always meant to have a luxurious life. I was meant to. You know, my ancestors went through a lot so that I can have the kind of life that I have and I could continue that legacy within my family. Okay. And it makes other types of people, I'm going to be honest with you, think of like the Trump supporter types. It makes people like them uncomfortable because I'm so comfortable in who I am. And when you're in public and you pick up on these energies, I want you to immediately remove yourself if you can from that person. But see, this person decided, I'm using them as an example, to follow me. And so at some point I said, you know what, Karen, if you get any closer to me, I am going to embarrass you in front of everybody in this store. And so another woman walking by literally got this look on her face like, oh no, please don't do that. So I hope that people who are a little more afraid to speak up, I hope that you come across somebody like me so that we can speak up for you. Cause we enjoy it. And this Karen did seem frazzled. And I was like, exactly, you should be, because you thought that I didn't notice that you were trying to make me uncomfortable, but nobody on this planet could ever make me uncomfortable. Okay. So Lua Nova is about getting you to that point where that's how you see yourself, where nothing and no one could ever touch you. Nothing and no one could ever bother you. Nothing and no one can ever break your faith. Nothing and no one having differences of opinions, having a different faith than yours would ever shake you. That is what I am pushing for. Also, I'm breaking stereotypes. An Afro-Latina witch who was raised in Texas is extremely rare. Here in Texas, if you're not familiar, it is typically very conservative. A lot of people, you're going to find a lot of fake Christians. That's not to say you don't ever come across the real ones. You will, but you almost have to like try your hardest to find those as opposed to the opposite. And what I mean by the fake Christians are the ones who are super judgmental, the ones who are quick to condemn everybody. Meanwhile, they have a bunch of skeletons in their closet. You're going to find a lot of that in Texas and in the South of the United States. I'm sorry. I was about to cough and I had to stop it, but that's what I'm referring to. Okay. And so imagine somebody like myself who stands out the way I do growing up in that environment. It is why I genuinely believe that the biggest audience I have in the United States is in California. Because you get it. You get it. I probably wouldn't even stand out in your state. And I love that. Thank you so much for your support. But I just wanted to have this chat with you. I really enjoyed talking to you. I want to get into this spell. I'm going to have just so you know, I record all of my segments at different times. Sometimes they're in the same day. Sometimes they're hours later, days later, a week later. So for now, I'm going to have to come back to the spell itself, but give me 1 second. Remember that anytime that you're starting a spell, to make sure to cleanse your area, and I mean spiritually cleanse, you can use Florida water from Walmart. And if anybody tells you otherwise, they are not a real practitioner. And keep in mind that when it comes to protection or any sort of spell work, it is about the intention behind it. It is about the energy behind it and not so much the tool itself. Okay. When you get too caught up in the tool itself, you are essentially killing your own spell. You are essentially not working against the momentum that is there to help you. So use the energies around you to your advantage. All right. So with all of that being said, I told you what you need: a candle, a bag of candy, and a piece of paper and a pen. As far as the size of the piece of paper, I recommend that it's at least journal size. Still think about the size of a typical journal. And if you need it to be something bigger than that, that's absolutely fine. If all you have on hand is a Post-it note, that's absolutely fine too. But I always try to be really detailed in in the information that I'm giving you when it comes to spell work, because the more detailed you are in spell work or anything related to the law of attraction, etc., any of the universal laws, the easier it is to manifest. So write down exactly what it is that you want in your life to be sweeter. What's an area of your life that you want, that you need or need to be sweeter? Do you want your relationship to have less conflict and you want to be sweeter to each other? You need to sweeten it up a little bit. Do you want your boss at work to be nicer? Do you want the barista you see every week to not be as grumpy? What is it in your life that needs some sweetening up? And be specific, okay? And when you are done writing this down, I want you to take this piece of paper and fold it up into a square. And basically what you're going to keep doing is you're going to keep folding this paper towards you until it's in a tiny little square. So once you, let's say, fold it in 3 parts, turn it to the right, turn it clockwise, and then keep folding it again until it's a square. When it is a square, you're going to put it near either the black or orange candle or whatever color that you chose. You're going to put it near this candle. What you're going to do next is you're going to take this bag of candy and you're going to put some of it around the candy. And before you speak into this candy, okay, it's been such a long day. Before you speak into this candle, you're going to eat one of those pieces of candy. Okay. So eat one of those pieces of candy. Keep some of that candy for yourself. This is why I asked you to get an entire bag. And the rest of the candy that is around this candle is, one, signifying that you are sweetening up an area of your life, and it is also an offering to the universe. If you work with particular deities, your ancestors, your guardian angels, anything like that, that's perfectly fine. It can be considered an offering for them. Whenever I talk about the universe, who created the universe, class? Oh, wait. Exactly. The divine. If you don't believe in God and you're just like, well, there's something out there that created something. That's why I said the universe, because that encompasses a lot of our beliefs and who the deities, etc., that we work with. Okay. So that is who this candy is for. And it is also, of course, about the energy around what candy signifies, right? Sweetness. All right. So what you're going to do before you light this candle is that you are going to think about what it is that the intention is behind this spell, such as, I want a sweeter love life. I want to go to work and actually enjoy being there, because right now I don't really like being around my coworkers. What is this area of your life that needs to be sweeter? Even if you're just like, I just want a more pleasant commute to wherever it is I need to go, the gym, work, wherever, pick up my kids, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. These are all examples. I don't have kids. This sidebar. I just was giving you examples. And speak that into this candle. You can whisper it into the candle too. Whatever works for you. Okay. And then you light the candle. You're going to let that candle burn all the way down safely. Okay. This is why I said, if you choose a bigger candle, then yeah, your spell's going to take a little longer. If you choose a tea light candle, which I originally recommended, did I recommend it in this edit? This is actually